Welcome back to another MOTOBOB video where today we're going to be talking about this awesome little device. It's the Monimoto 7 tracker. It's their latest product and it packs plenty of awesome features that make it a great addition to your security measures to keep your pride and joy safe. So in this video, we'll go through the key features that make this device so good. Now, I'll start by saying a massive thanks to Monimoto for sponsoring the channel, but what I will say is they've given me free rein to say what I do and don't like about it on this video. So if it sounds like the right tracking device for you, then there's a link down in the description below, along with a 10% discount code for my viewers. Now, I'll start with a quick unboxing just so you know what to expect, but it really is pretty simple. Pop this open, and inside you'll find the GPS tracker device, the key fob, and then a couple of reusable zip ties so that you can attach the tracker somewhere inside your bike. Now, aside from the instructions, that's pretty much it. So it really is a simple system, and that's one of the great things about it. Now, there are some little tabs inside the device and the fob that you need to remove to activate the batteries, but once you've done that, you just download the app and follow the instructions to set up your device, and then you're ready to install it in the bike. Now, to install the Monimoto, you just need to find somewhere to hide the device on your bike that isn't too obvious. Many thieves will be all too familiar with GPS trackers, and so they'll know to check in the obvious places like under the saddle, and so you might need to remove a fairing or something to make it a little harder to get at. Now, you can either use the zip ties we've talked about, and there are even some little cutouts on the box there to make sure it doesn't slip out, or I've found in the past that some proper heavy duty sticky pads from Amazon can also hold it onto the inside of some bodywork, for example. Now, the previous generation Monimoto was more like a long stick shape, and so it was fine with the zip ties, but I think I prefer the shape of this device just because it's easier to mount in a wider range of situations. Then you just need to find somewhere to put the fob. Basically, it's there to let the tracker know that you're the one riding the bike. If the fob isn't present, then it knows that someone else is moving it, so the device should raise the alarm. Now, the temptation might be to put it on the same ring as your bike keys, but Monimoto recommend against it, because if someone steals your keys and then uses them to ride off on your bike, then you won't get an alert while they're riding it away. I'd recommend just having it in the same place as your keys and then sticking it in your pocket when you go out, or if you have the same jacket or backpack that you use for every single ride, then it might be worth putting it in one of the pockets of those, because they're presumably much less likely to get nicked than the keys. But that's basically it. Somewhere secluded to put the device, and then somewhere to put the fob that will be on your person every time you go out for a ride. So what's so good about it? Well, perhaps the biggest criticism I've seen in the comments of trackers that we've reviewed in the past is that they have cables to attach them to the bike's battery in order to draw power. On the one hand, you never need to worry about the batteries running out on those devices, but on the other, the cables, of course, give away the location of the tracker. So even if you spend a good amount of time hiding the device, a thief could potentially pop the seat off and follow the wires to find it and get rid of it. On top of that, if your bike was missing for a while and the battery somehow went dead, eventually the tracker would stop working as well once the internal battery was drained. The Monimoto, well, it's super stealthy because there's nothing to lead the thief to its location, and the internal batteries are designed to keep going for quite some time. They say up to 10 days after the bike has been nicked, or 500 location reports. So it really depends on how much the bike's being moved, but you ought to be able to find the location of your bike regardless of the state of the bike's battery. Now, the device itself comes with 2 lithium AA batteries, and they say they can last up to a year in the sort of regular day-to-day mode, i.e. it hasn't been stolen. And the reason being is that the tracker really ought not to be doing much most of the time. If you're out riding the bike and it's sensing movement, hopefully the fob is nearby, which tells the tracker that it doesn't need to get a GPS signal or transmit anything. And then hopefully when the bike's parked up and the fob is away, which arms the device, 99% of the time there's no need for it to do anything unless the bike does get moved. It's only in those scenarios where the bike is moving and the fob isn't nearby that it makes an alert, which is of course exactly what you want, but the rest of the time it can remain super battery efficient. Now, the app on your phone will give you an alert when the batteries in the device get below 20%, so that gives you plenty of time to change them, and of course course, I'd recommend doing it as soon as you get the notification. It's just Murphy's Law that the time you put off changing the batteries, that's when your bike will get nicked. As for the fob, well, that has a battery that lasts for up to 3 years. So here's a bit of a demo of it in use. The fob's out of range, and as I push the bike away, I get a call on my phone. The reason it calls you is because it's much more noticeable than a notification, so it's way more likely to get your attention. After that, it will repeatedly send you the location of the bike while it's moving until it stops. Then it will send you the location after 30 minutes, which ought to be where the bike is finally situated, and it's as simple as that really. If you want peace of mind, you can change the settings in the app so that you get regular status updates from the device, and you can do that either daily or at up to 40-day intervals, but obviously the more frequent, the more battery it uses. And there is an active tracking mode where it will show you the position of the bike if you hit that button in the app, and basically that's for if the bike does get stolen with the fob. What it does is unpairs all fobs from the device, and that'll mean of course the device then thinks that there's no fob nearby, and therefore it'll enter the alarm state. But it can take a while to kick in because it depends on how frequently you've got those status updates set. Really, this is a tool that works in the background, and that's to preserve the battery, which makes it easy to hide and low maintenance. But if you're someone who's quite anxious about their bike being stolen and you like to check its location like every moment of the day, this probably isn't the tracker for you. But personally, I think the benefits are great, and when I've done a test or accidentally forgotten the key fob, it's worked perfectly, so I don't really feel the need to check in on it all the time. Now at the moment, the RRP is £169, but I do believe there's a sale on the site, plus there's the 10% discount code which will work for the next 30 days after this video is published, and you can use it on top of the sale price. Either way, I think it's pretty competitive, and it works pretty much globally, so you can check the list on their website to find out specifically about your country. The only thing I'll add is that there's a £3 charge per month on the embedded SIM card, and that's billed annually, so after the initial 2-month free trial, you'll have to activate your subscription through the app. But to me, that sort of price doesn't seem too bad for the peace of mind it offers. Now, there are more expensive options out there that have a monitoring service where they'll also be alerted if the tracker detects a theft, and they'll call you or call the police or try and locate the bike. But they do come in at a significantly higher cost, as you can imagine. And so as with everything, it's about your circumstances and budget. But this is a really nice, affordable way to get a proper good tracker that you can just monitor yourself. Like I say, there's a link and voucher down in the description below, so do check those out if it sounds like your sort of thing. Leave your questions down in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you. And if you're new here and you want to see more motorcycle gear reviews like this, then hit subscribe and I'll see you next time.